こっちだ。
兄様。
戻ってこい。
お兄ちゃん。
What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another Fire Emblem IF news video. That's right, more news coming out of the Famitsu magazine. Now that the Famitsu magazine's been out, we have several more scans, and some of them are actually fully translated by the guys over at NintendoEverything.com. Thank you very much for that. I will link down in the description to them. I actually found this news thanks to Hannah S. and the guys over at NintendoLife.com. So thank you to both of you guys, especially Hannah S. for popping up more information. She's freaking awesome. But yeah, so I'll kind of do a quick run through of some of these, but I'll get to the important ones so this video isn't too long. I think the last videos did get kind of long. But yeah, so basically these actually talk about the weapon tree. I mean the weapon triangle and the changes they've made to it. You know, so they've updated the weapon triangle to be I guess a bit more varied now. So the old weapon triangle at first was swords beat axes, axes beat lances, lances beat swords. So even though lances is not a word, it's weird. But yeah, so now they've updated the weapon triangle. So now swords and magic beat axes and bows. So now bows and magic actually have their own spot in the weapon triangle, which is interesting, saying as though I never really realized why bows did not have a spot in the weapon triangle, even though they were a weapon. Same thing with magic. Now they do have their strengths and weaknesses still, like how you know, bow users can't attack directly. So basically they can't attack a unit that's right in front of them. They actually have to be at a distance. The other thing is they are actually good against flying units, specifically against Pegasus archers, Pegasus knights. The other thing is you know, magic of course has its own abilities as well, you know, being good against knights, and good in wind magic, good against flying units. I hope that's still in there because that's going to help you a lot. But yeah, now it actually has an official spot in the weapon triangle. So, you know, mages can actually beat bow users, which is pretty interesting, seeing as though they're both in range of each other's attacks. So as well as that, axes and bows actually beat lances and dark weapons. So now when I first heard of dark weapons, I actually read this a while back and I was like, what the hell is a dark weapon? But so I'll get into that a little bit later. But yes, so bows and axes beat lances and dark weapons, which kind of makes sense. And lances and dark weapons beat swords and magic. And so they give you a few screenshots. I'll link the scan in the description so that you can actually go and get that. You can read that yourself. Because it'll take entirely too long to actually read, and I just did something on my computer. Next scan we have goes into how weapons have changed. So basically they talk about how they got rid of weapon degradation, which isn't a big deal. Well, it's a big deal, but you know, it's not a huge type of thing. So weapon degradation in Fire Emblem Awakening basically means you could use a weapon for limited amounts of time. So you would say, you know, some weapons would have 30 uses, and after the 30 uses the weapon will disappear and it will break. So now they've gotten rid of that. So now they just have weapons that have different drawbacks when you use them. So it's pretty interesting, you know. So it actually makes you think, do you want to use this particular weapon in this particular situation? And it actually makes you carry multiple weapons for multiple different situations. Since each one of them have a different drawback, you would have to resort to using something different. You know, instead of just getting a really powerful weapon and just using the crap out of it until it breaks. So that's pretty interesting. We also get a new character reveal on this page as well. We get Nynx I'm not quite sure what her class is, but by looking at her and the fact that she can actually use tomes, I would say she's a dark magic user, and she's probably on the Nora side, since most of the magic users are from Nora. We also see she has 2 abilities over there. I can't really tell what they are because they're really small. So the next page is where things get interesting. We have here 3 character reveals and 2 class reveals. So we get here, new classes revealed are the maid and the butler. The maid, of course, being Felicia. Now this is really interesting. I didn't expect Felicia to be an on-field character, but she's actually an on-field character. And her bio basically says she's a capable maid. She serves the protagonist every need in the kingdom of Nora. So you meet her on the Nora side, as expected. She's a French maid. She's brave. She's very brave in battle, but she's also somewhat reckless and careless, and she makes mistakes. So that's pretty interesting. She's actually, you can actually use her in battle. Then we get a new character, completely new character, and it's Joker. He's a butler, just like Felicia. He's a butler that serves the protagonist in the kingdom of Nora. So you meet him in Nora. He is an ally no matter what. So basically meaning him and Felicia can join you on either side. So if you stay on the Nora side, they'll be on your team. If you go to the Hoshaido side, you'll be able to recruit them in some way. And the same thing goes for the Great Knight Gunther, who is more like from reading his bio, he's more like the Frederick of the game. He's an honorable knight, what I'm saying? He's distinguished in his service, and he serves the protagonist in his travels, aiding in fights and in training, and he is strict, but yet he's kind. So he's kind of like Frederick. Hopefully he's not as much of a dick as Frederick is in the early game, but yeah, he's like Frederick, and he can be on both sides. So, and that's another thing too. You see these little colored rectangles here. That basically means that they can be on either side. So red is for Hoshaido, pink is for Nora. So that's pretty interesting. And also here they talk about what dark weapons are. Dark weapons are concealed weapons. Now these are exclusive to the Shinobi, Butler, and well, I don't know if it's exclusive, but we know that for right now, we know the only classes that can use them are the Shinobi, Butler, and Maid classes. And these weapons basically lower your opponent's abilities. Now I don't know if they do damage, but they do lower your opponent's abilities. So, we'll get into a little bit more of that once we get to the Shinobi side. They give you some screenshots here, which I will evaluate closer once I get some bigger ones, because they're freaking small. Alright, and the next scan we get is we actually get to talk about the Shinobi. So they also go into more detail with what dark weapons actually do, and we get 2 character reveals as well. We actually get 4 character reveals on this page. 2 we've seen before, and the other ones are brand new characters. So they talk about the weapon differences between the 2 games. They talk about how in the white version and the black version, they're different. So in the white version, lances are called naginata, which is expected. And they're more defensive weapons. So, they do have offensive power, but they actually increase your defense more using them. And then on the Nora side, in the black game, they're called lances, like normal, and they're more offensive weapons. And they don't increase your defense at all, really, but they are very offensive weapons, and they increase your attack. And we get the name of the mysterious silver-haired, cavalryman Cyrus. We see him. He's on the Nora side, but we also see him on the Hoshaido side in the trailers. So we get his name. His name is Cyrus. But he looks like a Cyrus. That's pretty cool. And then we get the other new character for the Hoshaido side is Outtro, the Naginata user, think of her kind of like ah man, I can't think of the dude's name. He was a villager in Fire Emblem Awakening, but he had like an awesome freaking ability. So hopefully she has a similar ability. So then we get into the shinobis. Alright, so shinobis, there are 3 shinobis in the game so far. We all know Saizo, even though they go into a little bit more of his character here. And Saizo, you know, he's more of a hot-headed ninja, which is interesting. I would expect him to be more of the cool, laid-back ones. It's usually when you see ninja and like Naruto and they got their faces covered, you get that Kakashi vibe from them, you know. But Saizo is exclusive to the Hoshido story. So Suzukaze is more of the calm, cool, and collected one of the group as far as the shinobis go. And his clan has been serving the Hoshido for generations. And in contrast to his brother, he is cool, calm, and collected. But he's also not exactly loyal to Hoshido. So I mean, he's loyal to them in the fact that he works for them, but he can also work for the Nor. As you can see, he can be recruited on both sides. You know, then we get to the last shinobi, and you know, the first potential waifu who isn't related to you by blood. We get Kagero. Kagero is a kunoichi, which is basically a female ninja. She serves Ryoma initially. Her class is shinobi, which basically means, you know, since they say initially, she can actually change classes. She often works to restrain the reckless Saizo. Together with Saizo, she is a character that becomes an ally on the Hoshido path, and she can only be on the Hoshido path. So, you know, if anybody's looking to potentially waifu Kagero, you might want to stick with the Hoshido path. You know, so she's a waifu prospect. She's a shinobi with an emo swoop. Yep, definite waifu prospect. So, so getting into the other part of this one, they actually talk about what shurikens do. So shurikens. Shurikens and other dark or concealed weapons actually lower the abilities of the target. Now, we don't know if these weapons actually do damage. I would like to think of them as like throwing axes. Like throwing axes did damage, but these guys do damage and something, you know, they also degrade your abilities. They probably don't do a great deal of damage, but they do damage. You know, we see, like it says, the Iron Shuriken lowers magic defense and resistance of the target. So that's pretty interesting. We hopefully, you know, what it looks like here is that the different types of Shuriken have different abilities. So it'll actually be useful to use weaker weapons when it comes to your dark weapons. So, you know, because usually in Fire Emblem, once, you know, you get your weapon rank up, you know, you can actually use different weapons. So you start off with bronze weapons and super crappy. And once you get up to like weapon rank D, you can use like iron weapons. Once you get to C, you can use steel weapons, and so on and so forth. So with shurikens though, I believe they use different abilities per weapon level. So maybe a steel shuriken lowers attack, or maybe a silver shuriken lowers your magic or something like that. So it'll be kind of useful to use all the different types of shurikens to your ability and to your advantage. So that's pretty interesting. And so that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep it real.